Welcome back to State of Sonder. Today, we're doing things a little bit differently. This is the last episode of the year, and originally I was going to do a solo episode. Um, this year has been a lot for me, and I think that I kind of just wanted to share like what I've learned over the past couple months and like what I've experienced. And it's interesting because I'm a very open person and I am pretty good at sharing things, but I think for some reason I had a really hard time talking about things that I have been going through. And um I this whole podcast I bring people on and have the hope that they'll open up and share their stories. And a lot of times they go, to a vulnerable place and they're willing. And I'm always so grateful. So I kind of felt like I should be able to do that. Like it's hypocritical if I can't. Um, but again, I was gonna do a solo episode, and then I was coming up to San Francisco and back with Mies, my love, and I think Mies has been there through a lot of this process, and just like we went to Europe together, and she's been a part of my journey, and so we thought maybe we do a role reversal because Misa came
Mm.
onto my podcast while we were in Europe, and you shared your story, which was so beautiful. So we're kind of doing a switcheroo. So she is going to be
Interviewing her.
yes, and I have no idea like what you're gonna ask me. So
And I have no idea.
oh, okay, you didn't think about it.
No, I thought about it, but I think it's also just like, I think something that I really admire watching your podcast is obviously there's preparation that goes into it, but I also think you do such a good job at kind of allowing the person that you're bringing into this space to just open up and you flow with the direction that they're taking the conversation. So I feel like even though I've put some thought into how this conversation was going to go, it ultimately also matters what you share and kind of how you open up and how that leads us through the conversation. So it will be a new experience for us both.
Yeah.
I've also never interviewed anyone for anything. So,
I mean, it's going to be more of a conversation. And I think it's true. Like, I used to get really riled up about prepping.
mhm,
And, like, obviously, a lot of the people that have come on are people that I know.
mhm.
But as I've been doing this more and more, there are people that I don't know very well. And then I have like the certain things that I like to hit on because I know what they do, or like, you know, I don't know, like their craft.
Mhm.
But then I like to kind of keep it open because I feel like when I'm too formulaic, it takes out the magic of it. So
I've never heard that word before.
formulaic,
Yeah.
like a formula.
It makes complete sense.
Is that an
but
actual word?
I feel like
It is.
because you said it so confidently, and I probably just haven't ever formulaic.
Yeah, formulaic. No,
That's
it's 100% a word.
I 100% believe you.
Okay. I also like this little detail on your sweater
Oh,
hood.
thanks. Not happy.
Okay. So,
Okay, so
do you want to begin with a question or like
I would love to begin. I think that the audience for the most part has gotten a good feel of you and your personality. But kind of as you start all of your episodes with people that you're interviewing and trying to get to know, I feel like it's important to kind of give you that space to first open up by telling your viewership, the audience, a little bit about you, a little background. You've shared bits and pieces of yourself throughout the 2 seasons that you've been working on this podcast. Um, but what has been happening for you this year?
Oh my gosh, that's like a loaded question.
It is.
And I think like as I've been thinking about this, because originally I was going to do it alone.
Mhm.
And I think when I reached out to you, I wanted you to kind of just like be my guiding light because I think as I was thinking about this episode, it was really hard for me to iron out what my thoughts were.
Yeah.
I think this year,
I just want to apologize really quick that I'm going to face you.
Yeah.
So this, I don't know that anyone's going to see my face in this.
they're not.
Okay, that's great. Goodbye. Okay, go on.
Um,
This year.
Oh, okay. This year, I think I keep coming back to this phrase because I feel like it is truly how I felt. Like, I think I met, oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional already.
I know I have
It's
tissues.
not good.
I have tissues right
Okay.
here. I'm so ready for
Um,
it.
I think this year I met truly the most broken version of myself.
Mm.
Um, but I also think I met the strongest version of myself.
Mm.
And I couldn't have anticipated or expected anything that had transpired this year. I think even just the beginning of the year, starting with like all the fires and stuff, like it just
Mhm.
started as a rough year.
For sure.
But I think the beginning half of the year, I don't know, like I would say that I felt happy and I felt like things were good. Like I felt like things were picking up with my work and like I have an amazing group of friends and
Mhm.
I was having fun with my friends and I was in love and I was in a relationship and I feel like I was happy and like content and
Mhm.
moving with the rhythm of my life.
Mhm.
And then halfway through the year, I felt like everything imploded. Um, and a big part of that had to do with like my relationship ending.
Mhm.
And I think what followed after and what transpired after was just an experience that I have never experienced in my life. And I think I've dealt with like breakups and stuff in the past, but I think this one like it just I shattered. Like
Mm.
I completely broke and I felt like a shell of a person. And I think for a very long time, I could not get it together. Like I could not pick up the pieces. And I think there's a lot to that, right? And I feel like even when I was going through all these different episodes and having the opportunity, this is my podcast. I could do
Yeah.
whatever I want with
Yeah.
it. And I think there were so many opportunities where I could just, hit record and just share what I was experiencing. But I felt like there was something super sacred
Mhm.
about giving myself time and space to go wherever I needed to go. And I think that you and a lot of my friends went through that journey with me in a very like I didn't really talk about it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I had a hard time talking about what I was feeling or experiencing or going through and I really isolated in a lot of ways and even
Mhm.
in Europe like I spent a lot of time by myself and you gave me that space.
Mhm.
So I wasn't really sharing or talking about it with a lot of people, but I was feeling everything internally.
Mhm.
And I think I needed to go through all of that to be able to sit here and just talk about what I've learned. Like people go through this all the time. People go through heartbreak, people experience losing someone they love. It's a very normal experience, but I
Mhm.
think, for me, that journey and that process was so I can't really put it into words. It was just it broke me. It took me to the like deepest place where I haven't been. And then I had to pick up the pieces and start building myself back up. And um, I think it was interesting because recently I talked to a lot of my friends who had been going through this journey with me and just trying to be there at whatever capacity that I allowed, which
Mhm.
wasn't very close.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
like kind of was like, I need to just be alone kind of thing. But one of my friends, and I apologized to all of them like one by one because I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I know you guys love me and I know that you're just giving me the space that I need, but I was just not here for
Mhm.
months. Like
Yeah.
I was here, but I was not here mentally. Like I was so anxious and so unable to get out of myself. I didn't feel safe in my own self.
Right.
And so
So caught up in your own
yeah.
grief.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I couldn't like I would try to go to places and be present and like be with people
Mhm.
because I'm like, no, I should be with people, right?
Mhm.
But then I would go and there would be moments where the anxiety and the panic just hits like out of nowhere. And then suddenly I am like in it and I cannot get out. And like I feel suddenly scared in my own self. And it's an experience that I'm sure people that deal with anxiety experience, but I just cannot explain the depth of what that feels like. And so my friends like obviously like felt that. And then one of my girlfriends, when I was talking to her and I was like, you know, I'm sorry that I haven't been here. She was like, you know, I thought we lost you. Like, I thought the Debbie that we knew wasn't coming back. And honestly, I felt that way too at a point, you know, I felt like that version of me was gone. Like, and that she may never come back again. And I think there is an aspect of that.
Of course, yeah.
And I think that people go through this where there is a part of you that dies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think I had to grieve that, you know, and I think that was so hard for me because I was like, there is a part of me that is like this, like very pure and very naive and very like young Debbie. And she still exists to an extent, obviously, but I think a certain aspect of that is
your skin had to get thicker.
Yeah. And a certain aspect of that was gone and was just, I had to say goodbye to her.
Yeah.
Because the only way that I could step into something that was, you know, stronger and grown and more mature and more understanding and more, I guess, in a way, like loving to myself, that part had to die.
I'm so curious to understand a little bit more about why you feel, knowing what you've gone throughout your life, knowing that this is not the first relationship you've been in or the first breakup you've had to go through. Why for you does it feel like this experience was so different from other experiences? And why do you think that this breakup in specific had the effect that it did on you?
There was a lot to it. I think there was one, I felt like this person was my person and then it didn't end up working out and I had to grieve that. I think there was another aspect of like feeling like I tried so hard and I gave so much of myself and my effort and my heart and so much of my love and it still like didn't work, and then me not understanding like fully why, right? And then there was another aspect of me feeling like I lost a lot of myself. I think that went kind of both ways. I also think there was the aspect of the future that I had imagined. That now was not going to happen, you know? And I think, so I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, just because a relationship ended, because I've experienced that before. But I think it was all of the different layers that I had to experience. And then is questioning like, was it what I thought it was, you know? And like things coming up that made me see things differently after the fact. And I think this is a big thing that I learned. It was you constantly seek closure. Like you seek closure from the person. And then I got to a place where I was like, that's not how closure works. That's not how closure works, because I can ask a million questions and you can give me all the answers and I can keep asking more.
And it still not make sense.
It still won't make sense to
Totally.
me. Because at the end of it, you're grieving that it doesn't exist anymore, not why it doesn't exist.
Right.
And I think for me, I had to understand that. Like, you are not the one that's going to give me closure. It has to come from me.
Absolutely. I also think that sometimes we forget in relationships that no matter what the relationship, whether it be a friendship, romantic, anything, sometimes the other person in the relationship also doesn't know. So you're asking them for questions to answer questions that they might not even have had the time or the space or the awareness to reflect on, right? So it's also like you're craving to get closure from someone that it's just never going to give you that. So it's exactly right. It's like closure comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that you and I briefly talked about, even just in my episode of just grief. Grief comes in so many different forms and so many different fonts. I think in you going through this year, you have also had to go through a lot of grief. And it's not death,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a form of death. You know, like you said, like there's a part of you that had to die and you needed to come back stronger. Simultaneously, that part of you that has to die still deserves to be honored and nurtured. So, since feeling like you've become the shell of a human, how do you feel like you have started to pick up the pieces? Like, how do you feel like you've started to move on? Have you started to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel stronger? How did that come to be?
I think, you know how they talk about like the 7 stages of grief.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I had thought like I was at a certain point, right? I was like, I think I'm at step 3. But then
You like go into therapy
but,
with notes
but
and
then
you're
I'm
like,
I think I'm at step 3 now. And like, but I felt like it was only recently that I actually started progressing through the stages. I
Mhm.
think for like months, I was holding on to like the bargaining stage
Mhm.
where I was like, I just couldn't let go. And like, yeah, and I can be so fucking stubborn. Like when it comes to love and my emotions and how I feel about somebody, it is deep. It is like,
You're a ride or die.
yeah, I'm a ride or die
bitch.
bitch. Like
You
my
really are.
loyalty goes so far that
So
like,
deep.
it's just like I remember when things like ended, and even when I was in Europe, you know, like, and like a guy would, you know, ask
Like,
me out,
look at you.
and I'm just like, no. And it's like,
I was like,
you're like literally we're in Europe, and like
this man's gorgeous.
and I'm
And
just
you're
like
just ignoring him.
I'm like tunnel vision, and like
Mhm.
I was telling one of my friends, it's like I feel like I'm being disloyal,
Mhm.
even though I'm not in a relationship,
Right.
which is like insane, like diabolical.
Yeah.
But it's just who I am, which is why it's so much harder for me to like let go.
Yeah.
I think I I vowed to myself that I would go through it, whatever that meant. I was not going to fill the void
For
with
sure.
other things. I wasn't going to fill the void with other men. I wasn't going to fill the void with distraction.
Yeah, distraction.
I was really like, I think you said this in your episode, or maybe it didn't go in, but it was like, you're either going to like get up and go, or you're just going to fall into this. And like, it's going to become a cycle and a pattern. And I refused. I refused. I was like, I will not let myself experience this again. Like, maybe I will experience heartbreak and all of those things. Like, sure, it's life. I can't control that. But how I fell apart,
Right. Your reaction.
I refuse to be here. And
Yeah.
if that means I have to do an immense amount of work and it takes me a lot of time, I'm going to do it. And so I put myself into therapy with 2 therapists because one wasn't enough for me. My nose is running. I started doing therapy, but I also did a lot of just spending time with myself, trying to outline patterns that I noticed within me, going back to like relationships that I've had, not just with partners, but with my parents, with friends, with the way that I grew up. I really just like went in and I did like almost like an inventory of my life. And I started to notice things. Like I started to notice like patterns of me feeling like I had to earn love, that I had to, you know, work extra hard to be loved. And I think that came from, you know, my relationship with my dad. Like my relationship with my dad, great now,
Yeah.
you know, but it took a lot of work to get there. And I think even though our relationship has healed and is in such a beautiful place, it doesn't discount what I experienced as a
Yeah,
child.
you're conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
hard to decondition yourself.
yeah. And unlearn that behavior,
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
And my dad wasn't very affectionate, and he wasn't a very, like, I was not daddy's little girl.
Mm.
And I would always be so jealous of girls that were like daddy's little girl. And I'm like, why does my dad not do that? Like, he treated me like a son.
Yeah.
So for me, and his way of motivating me was basically kind of saying like I couldn't do something,
Mhm.
or like with that kind of ethic, you won't be getting there. You know, like it's
Yeah.
just like that, like I'm gonna prove it to you kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that that started to show up in like a lot of my relationships, was like, oh, like if I show more love, or if I try extra hard, if I show you that I care more,
Mhm.
then it'll be better.
Mhm.
And that's not how it works. And
Mm-mm.
that's really not. I think when somebody sees you, they see you.
Mhm.
When they love you, they love you.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to sit here and say I was not loved, because I do believe that I was loved.
Mm.
But I think for me, coming out of this experience, I realized there was a lot of work that I needed to do internally, because I don't want to operate in that way. I think I'm very worthy and very valuable. And I think that the people in my life that I invest in, they feel it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
It's not just me like talking the talk, like I action it, which is why I
Walk the
can't do it for everyone.
for sure.
And I'm very selective of who I keep in my corner, because if you are, I'm going all in. And
I want to say also, I think just watching you go through this over the last many months, really years, to be honest, is I feel like you've come out of this not only realizing that you want and deserve to be loved in return, but also that you want to be chosen. You want to be chosen. You deserve to be chosen. Everyone deserves to be chosen. None of us deserve to feel like we're either an option or not a priority. And I think that you've realized through everything that you've been through and continue to go through, because healing's not a linear process, right? Like, it's not like you're all good now and like you're just moving straight ahead with your life. Things ebb and flow. Some days are sad, some days are happy, some days you're feeling stronger than others. But I think in coming out of this, I've really noticed how you recognize how much you deserve, and truly how much you deserve to be chosen. And like you said, you're such a loyalist. I have never known, seriously, and I really feel like I'm a loyal person. Like, I feel like I'm a ride or die bitch. Yeah, when we were doing, my episode, we talked a lot about friendship and friendship fallouts, and that was so hard for me. And I remember the years that followed losing my best friends. I had to go through so much therapy. And it took me years and years and years to get to a place where I was like, I'm not the problem. I deserve to be loved. I deserve friends who want to stay in my corner at my worst, because that truly is what happens. And now I'm not happy that you've been through this by any means, but it also, I think, gives me so much comfort. And I think will also give your listeners so much comfort to hear you talk about how much you lost yourself. It's like there's a part of you that is just dying, and you are like not in the world. You're not present. You're not there anymore because you're dying. You're busy dying inside. And it's so hard to articulate that. And it's so wonderful that you have the emotional maturity now to recognize what you went through and are going through, and to acknowledge your friends and to acknowledge how much they've been there for you, and to apologize, because I did not have that emotional intelligence when I was going through death and grief for the first time in my life. And it does rip friendships apart. It ruins relationships. And I think the fact that you went through that, you were your most truest authentic self in not being present because of what you were going through, but then also having the hindsight to be like, holy shit, I really just lost a piece of me. And all these people stuck around me and rallied behind me, regardless of how much I wasn't there. Obviously, now that you're out of it and you're seeing things differently, what would you have wanted to tell younger Deborah to really consider before moving through what you went through?
I think something that is so important that I am really learning and trying to cultivate is discernment. I think more than being able to love, I can love. Like, I am a lover girl. You know, I don't have to
You are a
question
lover
twice.
girl.
Like, if I love all in deep,
You're so
hard on
deep.
my sleeve.
Absolutely.
I do not. I'm not
No
guarded.
games.
No games. I'm not guarded.
No, you are an open book.
I am, and I think, but I think discernment is the most important thing.
Mhm.
And I think what I mean by that is, like, you're never always going to know the right answers, and you're going to have experiences with people that feel really incredibly special. But I
Mhm.
think that sometimes we are not fully honest with ourselves. Like, what is it that you yourself really want and need to feel protected and seen and safe with someone? Because, and I think and you feel this way, and I'm starting to understand this and feel this way after spending time with myself, is like, I don't need anyone to make me feel that way.
100%.
I don't need anyone to make me feel that way. And I think I've learned that through these months where, like, I'm very self-sufficient. Like, I am very independent. I know how to be with myself, and I know I have a good sense of self.
Yeah.
So I think I'm in a place now where I'm like, and we listened to the Emma Watson interview where it's like, I don't need somebody to make me feel safe or secure or loved.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes into my life that is additive in that way,
I would want them.
I would want them. And there's this whole thing about, like, the 1 + 1 is not 2, it's 11. And it's like, what the fuck? No, that's not mathing. But I love it because it's like, and I think I said this in another episode, where it's like, you're one whole person, and then this person is another whole person. And when you come together, you're not curving and molding in this way where you're losing yourself. You're standing by each other and you're growing together.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like, I was like, okay, you're good on your own. You can move on your own. So have discernment when you are allowing someone into your space. That's not just relationships, that's friendships too.
Absolutely.
Because your energy is sacred, and I really believe in energy exchange. So if you are coming into my corner and my space and you are just ripping out my energy and you're disturbing my peace, and you are, you know, and there, it may not be intentional. Most of the times it's not.
Yeah.
But if you are, I don't need it.
Yeah. I'm curious also to know, which I don't think I've ever actually asked you this question. I know that we've talked about dating at our age, and I know that we've made jokes about how we're the only two single females left on the planet. But I never have actually asked you, do you feel like your connection to this past relationship, apart from it being what you've already explained about feeling like it's a soul tie, do you feel like your connection has anything to do with your age? And do you feel like the unraveling that you had to go through after the fact has anything to do with your age?
And I can say this like 100% honestly, no.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because, and I think the relationship prior to him,
Yeah.
it was a big factor, because when I turned 30, I was like, my life is about to end. Okay. Literally, I was like,
I'm crying.
I was like, okay, it's over for me now, you know?
Oh my God, when I turned 30, I was like,
no, I was
out
really,
of the trenches.
but I think in this relationship, like, age did not affect me.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was,
you were in such a different place mentally
yeah.
about your life
Yeah.
and how it's unfolding that it didn't play a part. That's what I figured.
I think initially
Yeah.
it did. Like
Yeah.
when I first started dating, because I was in the headspace of like, I'm 32. Like
Mhm.
you now my friends are all getting married and
Right.
you have kids and I have a biological clock and like blah blah blah. But and I think one aspect that I will say that in this experience that I appreciated
Mhm.
was um that he encouraged me a lot to be very brave
Mm.
because I lived in a lot of fear for many years, like
Mhm.
fear of like just like being honest with myself and
Mhm.
fear of, you know, like disappointing my parents or like fear of like just everything
Mhm.
made me scared. And I operated in that way a lot. And I think as I was progressing through my last relationship, like a lot of things in my mind shifted.
Mhm.
So I stopped caring about my age. Like that really did not affect me.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that I had to kind of think about was like, I do have a biological clock
Mhm.
and I don't know that I want kids.
Yeah.
I still don't.
Men also have a biological clock, just saying.
Yes. But like, I'm
No, I know
that
exactly
much
what
later, but like,
I'm just for PSA.
yeah.
Mhm.
But like, I still don't know, you
Yeah.
know, that's a very gray area for me.
For sure.
But I think, you know, and then like coming out of a relationship and being 33, right? It's like, girl, you're 33. But I don't feel any type of way about it.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I feel like I'm just like, should I feel a type of way about it? But I don't. And
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm thinking of leaving LA
Mhm.
and I just want to explore and I want to like experience whatever my journey is asking me to experience. And I don't think right now that that is dating or marriage or kids.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't feel it in my soul.
Mhm.
And I'm okay with that.
Totally.
And asked me 3 years ago, I'd be like, you're fucking insane.
Yeah.
If you think that you're 33 and you're going to uproot your entire life and possibly go to a different country, but you crazy. But I'm like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to look back on this season of my life
Mhm.
and think like, why didn't you just fucking try?
Yeah.
Or like whatever you were curious about, why didn't you do? Because you have spent 33 years of your life not doing that.
Yeah.
So age was never something that affected.
I think that this is such an important topic for women specifically to speak on, especially because, you know, there's such a range, at least for me. Like, you met Annie when we were in Europe, and Annie had kids at such a young age, and she's had such a different journey than you and I have had. And she recently even has spoken about like the grief and the things that she had to mourn being a young mother or a younger mother compared to her friends, you know? And Annie and I have had that conversation one on one as well, where it's like, there really is no clear path to happiness.
Mhm.
You know, like having a husband and a white picket fence and children and, you know, all that does not mean happiness.
Mhm.
Being single and traveling and having lovers and blah, blah, blah does not mean happiness. It's whatever you choose in the end. You like choosing a partner, like choosing love is a choice that you're choosing every single day. You wake up every day choosing to love your life, choosing to be happy. How do you see your life moving forward now that you're in the position that you are, now that you've gone through the motions that you're going through? And again, I'm not saying that this is the end and you're done grieving and you're completely over it and you've moved on entirely. I'm not trying to insinuate that, but I do think that you have turned a page in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, who you were when we were in Europe, like a month and a half ago, like it wasn't even that long.
Yeah.
Is a different Deborah than who you are now,
Yeah.
you know, and you're going to be different in another 2 months time. So I know that you still have so much growth and you're still working on yourself so much. And I know that, like you just said as well, like kids and a husband is not on the horizon, but what is on the horizon? Like, how do you feel about life moving forward?
Oh gosh, loaded question.
Loaded.
Honestly, I don't know.
Mm.
But my therapist says, try not to say, I don't know. You got to sit with it. I don't
Yeah.
think I've sat with it long enough
Mhm.
because there's a lot of question marks in my head, you know, like I think that I really hit like a rock bottom point, right? And I crawled the fuck out of that.
You sure did.
I sure did. And
Sure did.
you're right. I'm not fully there. I'm
Yeah.
not fully moved on. I'm not fully healed. I
Mhm.
still think about it like literally every day.
Of course.
But I think for me, I'm a very big manifester, and I feel like I have truly manifested a lot of things in my life. And I think right now, I imagine just like me seeing the world,
Hmm.
and I see me just experiencing life in this like very free way.
Mhm.
And how I get there, big question mark. You know, I'm thinking about it every day
Mhm.
because it's not easy to like just fucking be like, peace out.
Mhm.
I'm going to go to a different country and
Yeah.
like whatever. So things have to line up and things have to make sense. But I am operating in my life like it's happening.
Yeah.
Like I'm selling shit in my house, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm telling my friends like this is going to happen.
Mhm.
It's interesting because I lost one of like, because I do a couple freelance stuff on the side and I lost one of them, right?
Mhm.
And it really impacted my income.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on,
Yeah.
like, haven't I had enough? You know? But when it happened, instead of being like super fucking stressed about it, like I'm stressed. I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
It's like when it comes to money and finances, it's always going to be stressful.
Of
But I
course.
literally was just like, it's redirection,
Right.
and
Another
maybe
foot out the door.
yeah, it's like everything I think that was taken from me this year, I think it was redirecting me
Mhm.
to my destiny
Mhm.
and where I'm supposed to be or need to be. And I don't know what my next, year is going to look like or how I'm going to get there or whatnot. But I think for me on the horizon, like my mental is just like being open, like not making a million plans, not, you know, putting myself in a box like this has to happen for me to be happy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what that is, to be honest. I
Absolutely.
genuinely don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I think I am a very joyful person, just in
Mhm.
my nature. I'm just bright. Like,
Mhm.
I wake up, I like this morning, I woke up at 4 a.m. and I'm like fucking
You're a
dancing.
psychopath. Like literally my alarm goes off and I turn around and you're just like doe-eyed deer, like smiling ear to ear. Yeah, I was like, what?
But I
I
just,
could like not even open my eyes.
that's just my nature. And so for me, I'm like, just live in what feels good for you, like be
Mhm.
who you are. And you're I will guide myself and
Mhm.
like where I'm supposed to be, I'll be. And I think I just need to trust myself and I need to trust whatever comes my way. And I
Mhm.
think I've let go of like attachments. Like
Yeah.
I'm not attached to LA. I love LA. I always will. It'll always be home for me.
Mhm.
I'm not attached to LA. And I was for the longest time super attached to my friend.
Same.
Yeah, but then I was like, just because I go on a little journey of my own doesn't mean they disappear. Like they're going to be my friends. And,
Mhm.
they're entering this beautiful new chapter of their life. They're going to be parents, hopefully, in
Mhm.
like the next year or two. And
Mhm.
I love that for them. And I want to be a part of that.
Mhm.
But just because like these things are happening at home doesn't mean like I can't do what I feel called to.
Mhm.
And right now, that's not what I feel called to.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm just allowing myself to, you know, listen to what my heart wants. And like, if that means in 6 months, I'm like, actually, I don't want to go, then okay, then don't go.
Mhm.
But it's like, if it's fear, I'm like, Debs, jump over it. Just feel the fear and do it anyway because
Yeah.
I don't want to
Mhm.
miss out on this opportunity,
Mhm.
whatever it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing grows unless it's in challenging times.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. Like you don't grow as a person unless you're challenged. And you don't grow as a person unless you put yourself in tough situations. And I think that sometimes those situations are forced. And I think sometimes those situations are chosen.
Mm-hmm.
I think, so much of our lives as women is constantly surrounded about our relationships and what kind of husband, because our society and our culture that we grow up in is very heteronormative. And growing up as girls, everyone assumes you're going to be marrying a man, and what kind of man are you going to be? And there's this Prince Charming and you're this like princess, and all that sort of narrative has existed throughout the dawn, right?
Yeah.
I think something that people are starting to understand moving forward in time and evolving in nature is that relationships are not really about finding the perfect person, but instead being your best self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something I've had to realize over the years of being single for so long, and also going through my own trauma and my own grief and my own dismantling of all the things, is that like I'm not really looking for the perfect person. I'm looking to become someone that I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that for Deborah? Like, I know what you're looking for. I mean, only so much as you know what you're looking for. But who are you trying to become to open up whatever comes into your life? It doesn't necessarily even need to be a romantic relationship. And I think we put so much emphasis on romantic relationships throughout our lives, especially as women. There's so much emphasis in romance. We live in a culture where it's like, if you're not paired up with someone, you're just a weird cat lady, right? Like, it's true. It's
And
like,
I'm like such a big, like I've always been such a big
and you're
romantic.
such a romantic.
Yeah.
So it's like you've also had to evolve and shift so much throughout the years to kind of make peace with where you're at in life, and to make peace with the fact that you're not married and have kids and live in a white picket fence house in La Cañada. Right. So it's like, but who are you looking to become to allow whatever it is you're trying to bring into your life moving forward?
I think for me, I have always kind of understood myself pretty well, right? I know I'm someone who just has a really big heart that wants to love and care about people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to toot my own horn there. It's literally like I feel like my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I was put on this earth to like do something that made people feel seen and valued. And I took this like strengths test,
Mm-hmm.
and literally it was like 85% empathetic. And this is like strengths test for your like career or passion, right? And I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Like
Social work.
like I'm like, what am I supposed to do with 85% empathy? Like,
yeah.
how is that gonna make me like,
Jeez, especially in this economy.
Exactly. And I was just like cracking up because I was like, I cannot get away from that. Like, that is just my nature. And so, like, I think for me, it's owning that and tapping into that. And I think even with this podcast, that's the purpose, right? Like, it really is to allow people to be seen and share their journey and their stories to hopefully influence somebody else or make someone else feel seen. And that gives me purpose and that gives me fulfillment. And I think that I think a lot of times, like, I've tried to think about like monetary gain. Like, how can I, like, where can I get more like financially stable or established?
Stability.
Yeah, exactly. So that was always like on the forefront of my mind because I think finances is always something that's stressful.
Absolutely. Especially coming from immigrant parents.
Right. And so I always operated in my life with this feeling of lack in that department.
Right.
But I felt this a lot in Europe where I was like, and I told you, it was like simply existing, like that's a luxury.
Such a luxury.
And that's so fucking sad, right? And I just realized like my essence is being someone who cares and who is empathetic and who loves. Like that is my essence. Everything I do externally outside of that is just like an addition to my life. but I want to live in my essence. And I think that is going to make me proud of myself. And that might not ever bring me, like, this empathy thing may never bring me financial gain, but that's okay. Because I think when I live in the truth of who I am and I honor that part of myself instead of pushing it away to give room to things that I think tangibly can give me more access, I will naturally open, doors will naturally open for me.
Absolutely.
And so I think in the becoming is being grounded in who I am and like really being honest with myself and honoring that part of me, because I think I've realized a lot of times I'm not that honest with myself. Like I think that I am, but then I dig real deep and then I'm like, why are you lying to yourself? Like, why are you trying to be this way when that is not your essence, you know? And so I think I have been doing a lot of like internal work on that specifically.
Evaluate. Yeah. In life, you are so quick to understand people, to want to like give them the benefit of the doubt, you know, to see the human in them. And I do think that when you go through hard times, whether that be grief, loss, death, a breakup, whether it be friendship or romantic, there is a layer of your skin that has to grow to have a thicker shield. And it's not that you're having a thicker shield to be guarded from the world, that you want to be like not be open to the world. It's just that you have to see things for what they are and not live in this haze, you know? And I think something that you and I have talked about a lot is believing people when they're honest with you. And like that actions speak much louder than words. There are tangible things about love that you have showed me so much love over the years. You have been such a good friend to me through the worst times of my life. You have showed up. That's action. You're not just telling me that you love me and that you're a good friend to me and I'm just believing it. You are putting action to your words. And I think that that's something that you've had to grow through, is not just immediately assuming, oh, this person meant the best. And that's something that I've been noticing between you and I, which is so silly and so funny. And we laugh about it a lot, where you're like, I'm like, this man's hasn't texted me back in 10 days. He's obviously not interested. And you're like, yeah, but maybe he got in a car accident. Maybe he's in a coma. I'm like, or maybe he just doesn't like me.
No, I mean, no, we literally like laugh about this all the time because it's like you're on this spectrum and I'm on this spectrum.
I'm on one end and you are on the complete opposite end.
We need to meet in the middle.
Yes, we need to meet in the middle. I'm so quick. I mean, through the shit of life that I've had to go through.
Yeah.
I think I have developed kind of a bad habit of cutting things off.
Your shield is this.
My shield's fucking huge. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's grow your shield a little bit bigger. And I need to break down some of my walls, you know? And I think it's like, I think that's, again, like kind of going back to the question that I asked you of like, who do you want to be?
Yeah.
How do you want to show up in the world? And how do you want to show up for potential future relationships, whatever they may be, whatever type of relationship, whether it's professional or romantic, you know, or friendship, you know? And I think that your answer with discernment and you acknowledging that you need to be more honest with yourself is such an honest, real fucking answer.
Yeah.
Because I see that. And I agree. I do think that you need to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more less forgiving.
And that's okay. So
just
that's
a little bit.
just
a tiny bit.
But I think that there is also like when you're asking like who would you want to become, it's like obviously like I listen to a lot of Jay Shetty. And, like,
love him.
Yeah, I listen to so much of him, and then like you know, there's been the whole fucking trend about the let them theory, right?
Yes.
And I've been hearing it to a nauseum that I don't even want to go there. But there is a beauty of really just releasing the attachment you have to a person's existence in your life.
Yeah.
I think with that whole theory, what I think is so beautiful about it that I feel like I'm trying to strive to get there though is when people are in a place that they are and they act in a certain way because of the place that they are, just accept that.
Yes.
And accept that they're there.
Yeah.
Don't hate them for it. Don't be bitter about it because they
Mhm.
can't show up for you in the way that you want.
Mhm.
It's like,
But also don't try and change where
right,
they're
right.
at,
Yeah. Like
don't try and help them get through that.
yeah, because that's a self thing.
That's on them.
Completely a self thing.
Yeah.
And I think there is a danger, and I really, really try not to do this with, I feel like through relationships, friendships, all of that, like I have learned that very well. Like I do not try to change who you are. Like I am not falling in love with your potential. I'm falling in love with who you are.
Yes.
Because I think that is so dangerous that people do is like, but I know that they can be better. I know that they have potential, like blah, 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 blah. I do not operate in that way. If I am going to be in this and if I'm going to love you, I love you as you are, if nothing changed, right? Because if you are loving someone's potential, there is a chance they will never get there.
Absolutely.
And if they never get there and you start to resent them, is it their fault or is that yours? And it's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked a lot about obviously how broken you felt over the years and how you want to do things differently moving forward and whatnot. But in the beginning of this conversation, you did say this year has been the most broken I've ever felt and also the strongest. I want to kind of shift now and focus on what does that look like for you? What has the strong been for Debbie in 2025 and how do you see it growing?
I think there's a voice because we voice memo back and forth, like fucking 10-minute voice memo
podcast.
But like
we do this on a daily
basis, literally. There was one voice memo that I sent you that I listened back to. And it was after I think like it was actually not that long ago. Like I think it was like maybe a month ago, but I listened back to it and I started sobbing because I told you like I tried my best. I tried my best. I fought the hardest I could. And I had to walk away because there was nothing more I could have done. And I think to put down your ego and your pride in that way, to open your heart like wide open and essentially give access to someone to break it. And almost knowing that that's going to happen. Oh, hell. I'm going to cry. And still going there and being like, I'd rather do that than ever look back and think that I didn't do everything that I could. But when I heard my voice telling you, I was like, that is pain.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So when you get to that place, the only place to go is up, honey. like truly.
Oh, I've been there.
Oh, there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Like you want to go deeper and darker and sadder? Yeah. Babes, you can't.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So when you hit that point, the only place to go is up. And I think just being able to do that in a very real and raw way and vulnerable way, like just, and it's not just that like you shatter and then you build up and then it's like going up from there. It's like you get a little better and then you break again and then you get a little better and then you break again. But I just like let myself go through that. Like, and again, it's not just the end of a relationship that took me there. It was like me breaking, me realizing I'm shedding skin, right? And like me grieving that. So it was like, Debs, you're ready to go to a new place and you're ready to step into a new journey and it's going to look really different and it's going to make you really uncomfortable. Like you're going to be in seasons where you're just like lost and you have to leave things behind, like even family and friends. Are you ready to step into that? Are you willing to go there? And I think I was teetering one foot in and one foot out. And again, you were saying some situations are forced and some situations you create to grow. And I think I even like wanting to leave LA and stuff, it's not just because I'm like, oh, I want to get the fuck out of LA. It's like I want to feel challenged and I want to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And I want to put myself in a situation where it's like sink or swim, go, you know? And I don't know why I'm like that. Like just be comfortable, bitch. Like, you know? But I think I need to do that.
Yeah.
And I think I need to do that to grow and to step into what feels like my truth and what feels like is going to propel me forward. And I think because I felt stagnant for a while. And I think just that whole process of getting there, I think is where I said, okay, like this is a version of you that you've never met. I was just so proud of myself. Yes, I'm not all the way there yet, but like I did it. Like I went through it and I'm going through it. But I am doing it with grace and love for myself. And I am coming out the other end as someone that I'm just so proud of.
Yeah.
And I can genuinely look at myself in the mirror, which I literally did last week and was like, Debs, I'm so proud of you. And I hugged myself and I was like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And I think I have this love for myself greater than I've ever before. And I know I'm capable of doing hard things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I will say that going to Europe with you had its challenges in terms of watching you unravel in a sense, you know, and I'm not saying that was challenging for me. It was hard for me to watch you have to go through that.
yeah.
And like I said before, as a friend, it's like, I know that I think I have the answers and I know I don't have the answers. I think I know that I have them on what you need to do to be happy and healthy and to push forward. But ultimately, I know deep down inside of me that I don't know because I'm not you. I don't know what you need. And there were times where I saw you emotionally really struggling just to be present, you know, just to be there, just to enjoy being in Europe. And it was so hard to watch because I just know that feeling so familiar.
I think a lot of people
do, you know, and it's like you hate to see someone you love going through it and not being able to save them from it. But I am also so unbelievably proud of you for one, going on that trip, even wanting to go on that trip. Like, that's why when you reached out to me and you were like, do you have any plan? I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go. Deborah needs this. Like, you do, and you did, and you deserved to have that experience. But also, I really do think you pushed yourself out of your comfort zone, even just in doing that trip. Like, I know you had me there with you, and in a sense, it's like a safety blanket, but you took so much on to like learn quickly and to move quickly. And you know that I have very little patience for certain things. And you were like, Melissa ain't doing this, so I better pick it up. You know, like, I just think that you are in such a beautiful place, even before Europe, where you are already kind of accepting, like, I need to be my own person and I need to live my own life and I need to start opening up my horizon. And you're right. Ignorance is bliss. It is fucking bliss. Ignorance is the best. I wish I could be ignorant. I really do.
You cannot.
But it's physically impossible because I'm too curious of a person and I care way too much about equality and all the things. So I don't want to be ignorant, but there is so much comfort in what's comfortable and staying where you're at, surrounded by the friends that you have, by your family. That's so comfortable. And that's not a bad place to be. And I don't judge anyone who I choose that environment, staying in California. Like I love being by my family. Like it's the whole reason I moved to San Francisco, is to be closer to my family. So I totally get that. But I also think like already the choices that you were making pre-Europe were choices for yourself to put yourself in uncomfortable situations and do things that you've really never done before. And you are so open-minded to the food that we ate, to the experiences that we were having, like to just being a ride or die, like bitch, like you're just like, I'm here for it. Like, and I just think that's so important moving forward, that you have that mindset and that you're willing to open your eyes and to open your horizons and to just see a new world. Like, I think that something that we've lost sight of as a humanity is existing. Like you said, existing feels like such a privilege. Why does that feel like such a privilege? That's insane. We don't expect, and I said this to you in Europe, but we don't expect anything of nature other than to just exist. Why can't we just do the same? We just had to create capitalism. Like, that's a lot more fun. But I think it's just, you have realized so much. And I am just personally so excited to see what the next couple of years are going to bring. I truly think that everything that you've been going through, and it's really true what you've been saying, you wouldn't be the person you are today if it wasn't for this past year, for all the ebbs and flows that you've gone through, the realizations that you've had to have, good or bad. And I think some of the worst moments of my life have also been the most fruitful of allowing me to become the person that I've always wanted to be and continue to try to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there is like this beautiful aspect, and it's painful, but I think there is this beautiful aspect that certain people in your life truly feel like no one else, But I forgot who said this to me, but they were like, sometimes they're passing and they're not there to stay.
Totally.
And I think that was so hard for me to
that
accept.
was literally, I was just going to say, that was quite literally the hardest lesson for me to learn. Like when I went through my first big friendship breakup, like I was in denial for years. I was like, this is not real. This is just like a blimp in the matrix. We will be friends again.
Yeah. It'll come back around.
It will come back. Like I was convinced.
Yeah. And honestly, there are situations in life that it does.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
But
it's also okay to let go.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. You have to release.
Yeah.
Because if something is meant for you,
exactly,
you can do anything you want and you cannot fuck it up. Like it will, like it's meant for you, right?
It's meant.
But if it's not meant for you, and this is something that is so crazy with like the human mind. It's like, if it is not meant for you, then it will depart in one way or another, right?
Absolutely.
But then we do this thing where it's like, if it's not meant for you, right? That means something better is meant for you.
Absolutely.
But then we still can't let go of what wasn't, because we're like, but that's the one I want.
Literally.
Even if there is something better on the way, right? And I think that is like, that's something that I learned, where it's like, oh, maybe, I don't know, 10 years down the line, certain things in your life may come back around or whatnot, or they won't, right? But like in this season, maybe it wasn't supposed to be. And if you cannot let go, then everything else that's supposed to follow is stuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, like, again, not to keep referring to these friendship breakups, but like literally, like it was like 4 years. I had 4 years of a life where I was just stuck because I could not let it go. I did not want to let it go. There was no world that existed for me without these people in my life. And the fact that all of them didn't want to be friends with, I was like, what what the fuck is wrong with me? I just couldn't accept it. And so for 4 years, I was alone and depressed and had no friends and had no idea how to reach out to people. To this day, I have a hard time making friends. Like, I have a really hard time making friends because I think I have so much trauma that lives in my body around friendship. But honestly, when I finally did let that go, when I finally was like, I need to release this, I need to let these people go because they obviously don't want to be in my life. They're not interested. Okay. And it doesn't feel good to beg for love. It does not feel good to beg for someone that you love to choose you, to want to stand by you, to want to be with you, even when you're not an appealing person to be with. And when I finally let that shit go, is when all of my other friendships started truly blossoming.
Yeah.
And I just was like, wow, the amount of time I've wasted. Like, I've had all these people in my corner waiting for me, loving me, supporting me, and I couldn't even see it for years because I was so heartbroken over these 3 friends that I lost who weren't choosing me. I had all these people behind me that were so loving, so supportive, really wanted to be there. And it's just the same for you.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful. I'm not saying that your process going through this has been quick at all, because it hasn't. And it's not over either.
Yeah.
It's really not. But it is so wonderful that you've realized this now, because it is only going to open things up for you. Holding on to something that's not holding on to you
You're literally holding on to nothing.
you're holding on to nothing.
Yeah.
It's a waste. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of strength. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And those are all things that you shouldn't waste, because our life is so short and time is so limited.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're so big on energy. So why waste it?
Yeah. I got my phone because I wanted to read this because I read this.
I can't hear you. Speaking to the microphone,
Oh, sorry.
please.
Oh my God. I'm the one that usually says this. Oh my God. I was like 6:34, but it's because it's a screenshot. I was like, you got me fucked up if it's 6:34.
Girl, it's nighttime by 4:30.
You're right. Okay. But it said, when you start healing from someone, the thoughts come like waves. You'll catch yourself thinking, I love them more than I've ever loved anyone. I didn't even know I was capable of loving someone that much. And maybe I'll never love like that again. But here's the truth you often forget, that love didn't come from them, it came from you. You were already someone who could love deeply, endlessly, fearlessly. They didn't create that version of you, they just witnessed it. You were the warmth, the softness, the steady heartbeat that kept showing up even when it hurt. They didn't give you the capacity to love, they only gave you a place to pour it. And when they left, that love didn't disappear. It still lives in you, waiting for a safer home, a gentler soul, maybe even just your own heart. So don't give them the credit for how deeply you could love. That was always you. It is you. And one day, someone, or maybe life itself, will see that love and hold it the way it always deserved.
That's just so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And I think
so true.
And I think one thing that I've learned, and again, this goes back to the empathy. And I think, yes, I do think my shield has to be bigger. But I think very recently, going through every fucking emotion under the sun, I have truly felt it all, right?
Yes, you have.
I think what the conclusion I came to was like the most recent emotion closest to this feeling of like peace for me was anger, right? It was like right alongside it. And coming out of that emotion and settling into where I feel now, it's just that like, just because people are in a place that feels different than where you are, and they cannot show up in the way that you show up, like, yes, it really sucks. But I think this is where like my empathy, I guess, extends. And, you know, you'll probably disagree and be like, too forgiving. But I do think it makes me have this level of understanding. And
Work through my pants.
But
Sitting on them. Go on, sorry.
I think I have this like level of understanding where it gives me peace because I'm like, I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I know how I operate. I know how I show up.
Mm-hmm.
My sense of self is strong.
Yeah.
So I know me. And I think I just need to be secure in that. And just
100%.
because people in my life, again, friendships, romantically, whatever, their journey is their own. It's literally Sonder. Your life is just as layered and complex and real as my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I see it through that lens, I don't have any like anger because I'm like, your life is your journey. And whatever you're experiencing is so real and valid.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever I'm experiencing is so real and valid to me.
Mm-hmm.
And some people's journey is filled with grief and pain and loss and feeling of insecurity or feeling of like just like being super lost, you know? And then other people are like so confident and secure and just joyful and like at peace with their life. And then there's other people who are somewhere in between. And I think when I just think about it in that way, like I just see the humanness of a person and it makes all of that like a feeling that I had like vanish because I'm just like, you're just like me. And just because like I'm operating in this way doesn't mean that that makes sense for you.
Totally.
Yeah. And so I think
you're not taking things personally.
Yeah.
You're not making what other people are going through about you.
Yeah.
Because how they're not showing up for you or
like I cannot change that. It's not my job to change that. And like I think, you know, for me, I made a vow to myself, like I want to take this season to really fucking do the work, right? I wasn't like that in previous experiences. In previous experiences, I was like, villain era, let me fuck shit up, you know? And okay, it was really short lived because it's not me. I can't be her. Okay. But I tried, you know, momentarily. But like I did all that and I felt so empty at the end. And I felt so like I prolonged my grief and my pain.
Absolutely.
So this time I was like, hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm still experiencing it and going through it. But like, I think that sense of security and love and respect I have towards myself is priceless. And I'm like, let's just continue to grow in that.
Clock it. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I think it's true. And I think that's exactly why I asked you the question. Like, I think a lot of times when we get out of relationships, you know, kind of the first question is like, what are you looking for in a man? What are you looking for in a future partner? Like, let's stop asking that question and let's start asking ourselves, what are we looking for from ourselves to be happy, to be thriving, to be healthy? Fuck what we're looking for in a man.
Yeah.
Fuck looking for a man, period. How about let's look for ourselves? Let's look for what's within. What feels good? Who are we? You know, like, and I think that's also just like in the culture of decentering men, because again, so much of our culture and so much of our society emphasizes so much romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Especially for women in their 30s to get a move on. And that's just not real.
Yeah.
And it does not have to be our reality. And you focusing your energy and time and attention on being the best version of you and the truest version of you is all you can do.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that you have control over. You cannot control, like you said. What everyone is going through is completely valid. Their experiences are valid, even if it doesn't align with your experience.
Oh, that is so important. That is so important to recognize. And I think like, and that's a beautiful thing when you can recognize it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you are expecting things that you shouldn't expect.
Yeah. And you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah. And that you honestly don't really have a right to expect because and it's weird. Like we humans just tend to do that.
Absolutely.
But like I'm learning that a lot. And like
I think that is for me when I really stopped being angry, is when I finally accepted and realized that like people don't inherently do things to hurt other people. They do things for themselves or because they're hurting or because that's what they need.
Yeah.
It could be a multitude of reasons behind why people do things, but it doesn't really have to do with you.
Most of the time,
9 times out of 10 it has nothing to do with
most
you.
of the time the intention is like pure, but then it's, you know, selfish or it's self-serving or whatever, because humans honestly innately are selfish beings.
Totally.
But I think, oh, I remember what I was going to say is that like a lot of times people are like, I want a laundry list of things in a partner, right? I mean, I think that everyone has their like
Of course,
list, right?
yeah.
But some people have this like fucking laundry list of things, and it's like, how are you showing up?
Exactly.
And I think that that is so important. Like, you cannot expect all of this and you be exactly where you are, unchanging, unwilling, like all of that. Like, I think that's so important. Like, I just want to move whatever feels right for me in growing and my growth and my journey, because that's something I can do. And hopefully, in doing so, if somebody it comes into my life, I'll know it's aligning versus me being like, I don't have this in my life, so I need it from you.
Exactly.
Because then it's taking and it's selfish, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
Again, 1-on-1.
Yeah. Standing side by side.
Side by side. Yeah.
Side by side. Well, oh my gosh. I think that this has been such a wonderful conversation. I think that, you know, it's been fun to be on the other side of it, to be honest, and just to be able to ask you questions. And yeah, just I think you have so much wisdom. Debs, you have had so much wisdom since we were young kids. You really have. You've always been such an old, wise soul in
Where did that come from?
a tiny little young body.
little, just little me. Just a little person. Look, I should put that photo of us where my face is like,
you're just staring at the camera. You're so cute. No, and I think, you know, again, your podcast so much is crazy stretch. Your podcast so much is just about sharing stories, and I think it's so nice to hear yours, especially after the very challenging and difficult and roller coaster of a year that you've had.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so gracious because like I really hesitated sharing this experience because I didn't like, I wanted to protect it, and I still do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like talking about it like to like the extent.
Yeah.
I have so much love and respect for that experience. I truly do. And it's something that has impacted my life so much. Some ways bad, but a lot of great came out of it. And I'll always look at that time with love. And I still have love for this person, and I always will.
Yeah.
And I think I decided to share it. One, because it's the end of the year and the past 6 months were like, whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
But I also think because this is something that is not unique to me. Like, people go through this often. And I think while I was going through it, the amount of reels and TikToks that I watched and read that brought me comfort, that made me feel so seen, you know? It was so helpful in my healing journey. I had a really hard time talking about it with people. I really did. I couldn't. To this day, I don't think I've shared to the extent of and the depth of what I felt. For sure. Or what was going on in my mind. Because I just processed that myself.
Yeah.
But
also sometimes there are no words for those feelings.
Exactly. And like, I don't know. It felt like something that I wanted to just keep within myself.
Totally.
And with my previous partner. Like that, like no one's going to understand it better than us, right?
Yeah.
But when I would read these things or when I watch these videos, like it brought me so much comfort because I felt so seen, and I was like, wow, I am not alone. And if anything, people are going through some fucked up shit, you know? And so I think that's why I was willing to share my experience, because I'm like, people go through this. And people, sometimes my experience can feel really aligned with somebody else, and knowing like, oh, I wasn't alone, like I feel seen and I feel heard because that's my experience in a different way, in a different font, but it's my experience and somebody else went through it and is coming out of it the other end. And like someone who truly felt like she could not get out of it and was going to feel that way forever, like being able to step into like a new light and like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think I wanted, if anything, to give that kind of encouragement, and also to share that you can be 33 and start your whole fucking life over.
Hell yeah, baby.
And that is so okay.
Absolutely.
Honor it, step into it, lean into it. Do not let societal timelines define where you should be at whatever age. You could
Boom,
be
baby.
40, 50, 60, like reinvent your life the way that you're supposed to or you want to, because literally it's our one life.
Reinvent yourself every day if that's what you need. There's no wrong, there's no rule book, there's no rules to life. And I think that's been something that's been so wonderful growing up together, and also having shared experiences, you and I now as adults. It's really so nice just to get to this place in your life where you're like, I can do whatever I want, however I want to do it. And no one can tell me differently. This is my life and you get to choose how you want to live. Even my brother and my mom, they were like, we think you're going to have a breakthrough, because they're just like, you're different. Like your energy and air is different. Yeah. And I'm just like, it's so crazy when you stop caring so much, how much changes. For sure. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I also think in you doing this wrap up of a podcast, it really is so true to you as a person when it comes. I mean, we started the conversation this way of you talking about how you really feel like you manifest so much, right? And you're big on energy and manifestation and speaking your dreams into existence. And I think by you doing this and you sharing yourself in this way, it is a form of letting go and moving forward. It really is. It's a form of manifestation of, I release this and I have nothing but love and appreciation for the experience during and after. I've grown so much as a person, and now I'm moving forward with my life. And it's going to be the end of this year, and I'm wrapping it up because I want to start the new year fresh. It's just so serendipitous, but still also so intentional that like you do this and that you're doing this and you're putting yourself out there and you're having these conversations for other people to relate, but also for yourself to just move forward. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, my love.
And I'm so proud of this podcast and everything that you've done over the years, or this year specifically. And you are just fucking going for it. And that's not easy to do. And like you said, it's like you just have gone to a place in your life where you're like, I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to try and figure out what I love and I'm going to go for it. And it's been so inspirational to watch. Like it really helps me navigate my own life and really challenges me to think for myself, what do I really want in a real way? Without the fear of failure, without the fear of judgment, because you really lead with that energy and it's just so special. And I really do think that you're going to just do so many big things with your life. I really do.
Welcome. So will you. You're going to move with me.
Deborah's petitioning for us to move to London together. But I have animals.
I know. Now you just got little
baby.
Oh my God, she's like sleeping.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
Yoshi. I think this is the longest I've ever recorded too.
What?
I think so.
Wow.
Because we just kept going and going. But
I don't even know how long we've been sitting here, to be honest.
But we should go explore now because
LOL. We literally did this when we recorded my podcast. We're like, okay, let's wrap it up. We gotta go explore.
Because I don't get to spend that much time with you.
I know. We should go explore.
But no, thank you so much. I think this, like, I tried to record this with myself Actually, I didn't really try. I just like did voice memos, like trying to iron out my thoughts. Oh, that's a very great thing to do. Voice memos.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I feel an emotion come up, I'll just voice memo. And
She
sometimes
labels it like crash out
crash out
number
1, 2, 3. Yep.
74.
I'm pretty high up there, but it's so helpful because I'll listen back sometimes and then I'll realize the emotion that I was feeling. And I'm like, was that just a momentary emotion or am I still sitting with it? And like just being able to, my therapist actually said this, like when I was telling him I have all these thoughts like lingering in my mind and it's like occupying so much space and it's really frustrating because I really want to like give that space to other things, but I can't control it. And he was like, why do you think these thoughts are lingering? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, no, you do know. And he was like, every time that you say, I don't know, as an impulse, you're pushing away the emotion and the thought when you should be bringing it in. And he was like, I really encourage you that when you want to say, I don't know, stop and sit with it and think about it because otherwise it stays in your body and you need to be able to release it, whether that's writing, talking to someone about it, talking to yourself about it audibly, but you have to release it from your body or else it will just stay dormant and then you'll forget about it because you're not thinking about it and then it's gonna seep into other areas of your life. And that's why I do, like, it's a joke, like I'm always like crash out 35, but I do it because I want it exiting my body.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing a lot of that and like trying to iron out if I wanted to do this episode or not.
Yeah.
But it literally in my schedule fell on New Year's Eve. And I was like, I just feel like it's symbolic. And I was with you. And then I was like, I feel like you've been through a lot of this chapter. And so like for you to guide me through this, I think was super special because I don't know if I could have done it alone. I would have literally stared into space for like 20 minutes. But I appreciate you so much. And
I hope I did an okay job.
no, you asked some good questions. Like I was like curious what you're gonna ask, but now we should go explore and eat some good things.
Okay.
And drink some good things.
That sounds so fun.
Let's change and go.
Okay, let's get drunk. Just kidding.
Anyway. All right. Happy New Year and see you in 2026.
Happy New Year.
Bye.